Get ready for Benjamin Knight Fuchs live on a Sunday. Benjamin,
Leon, my friend, good to see you. It
good to
says,
see you too.
has my name under your beautiful face.
Oh, it does.
Okay, all right. Nobody get confused. There we go.
How did that happen?
I don't know how that happened. I guess I'm everywhere. We can change
Yeah.
that later here.
Yeah.
I
I think I can do it. I think I can do it right now. Here we go.
All right.
All right. Live TV. Live TV in the house.
Liam Gallegos, good to see you.
Yes. Good to see you too, Ben. How was your week?
Good. Thank you so much. Short week, holiday and all.
Yes.
So we have an interesting topic today. Cholesterol seems to be a very popular subject in the world of health. I saw this article. This article came out this week. Statins are effective even for people over age 75. So we all know about statin drugs. Everybody talks about statin drugs and cholesterol. I remember when statin drugs came out in the 1980s. They were supposed to revolutionize cardiovascular pharmacology. In the old days, pre-1980s, pre-1986, in order to lower cholesterol, they used to have to give you a drug that would stick to the cholesterol and help the body excrete it. Statin drugs came out, and all of a sudden, there was this relatively safe pharmacological agent that would help lower cholesterol. But the real problem with statin drugs and with the whole cholesterol hypothesis of heart disease, the idea that it's cholesterol that causes heart disease, is the fact that cholesterol is a vital molecule. In fact, cholesterol arguably is the most important molecule in the body, and pharmacologically lowering the most important molecule in the body by suppressing the body's ability to make it doesn't seem like an intelligent strategy in the long run. Cholesterol is a building substance. It's associated with the building of cells. All cell membranes contain cholesterol. I'm not sure. Let's not get that one up just yet, Liam. Cholesterol is a building substance. It's associated with building things. It's associated with neurology. It's associated with movement. It's associated with brain health. It's associated with muscle health. It's associated with the immune system. It's your best friend. It's a precursor to hormones like estrogen and testosterone and cortisol. And it's a precursor to vitamin D. It's involved in the production of bile. There are so many places where cholesterol plays a role in a healthy body that to artificially lower it for a dubious to support a dubious theory that it's cholesterol that causes heart disease is not an intelligent medical strategy. So what is it that causes cholesterol to go up in the first place? Why is it that some people have elevated cholesterol? And what exactly is the relationship between elevated cholesterol and heart disease? Well, first and foremost, cholesterol levels will go up when toxins in the blood go up, specifically endotoxins from a leaky gut. Now, we're always talking about the triangle of disease, these 3 points of bodily breakdown that are associated with the development of all chronic degenerative disease: the digestive system, the blood sugar system, which includes insulin, and the adrenal thyroid complex. I call these 3 points the triangle of disease. We've talked about them before. These are the 3 points that you have to address if you're dealing with any other health challenge, be it cardiovascular disease, be it autoimmune disease, be it movement disorders, dementia, skin problems, whatever your chronic degenerative disease is, you cannot address it successfully unless you address the 3 points on the triangle. Conversely, if you do address the 3 points on the triangle, all chronic degenerative disease symptoms will begin to be reduced. You'll begin to reduce all your symptoms, and eventually your body will be able to recover if you address these 3 points. So on the one hand, if you don't address these three points, you can't deal with any chronic degenerative disease successfully. And this is why the medical model has such a poor success rate when it comes to dealing with chronic degenerative disease, which makes up about 80% of our healthcare costs, 80% of our health misery. So on the one hand, there's nothing you could do about these chronic degenerative disease, and doctors will tell you this, unless you address the triangle. On the other hand, if you address the triangle, your other symptoms will fall into recovery from your other symptoms will begin to kick in. You'll be able to address the symptoms and ultimately the disease themselves the diseases themselves if you address these 3 points. And so this involves all dysfunction in the body, all of it, including hypercholesterolemia. So the first point on the triangle of disease is the digestive system. And when I talk about the digestive system, we're specifically talking about the intestine, but the stomach, via stomach acid, plays a role in intestinal health. If you're deficient in stomach acid, you're going to be more likely towards intestinal problems. The pancreas and the liver and the gallbladder also play a role in intestinal health. And of course, working directly on the intestine is going to improve the prognosis and reduce the symptoms of chronic degenerative disease and ultimately improve the prognosis. So one of the major problems associated with intestinal, or one of the major reasons why intestinal disease is associated with health problems is something called leaky gut. And these days, a lot of people have heard of leaky gut. It's also known as intestinal permeability syndrome. There's several reasons why the gut will become leaky, but basically the lining of the intestine, the cells that line the intestine become inflamed, and then the intestinal lining becomes inflamed, and then the cells sort of spread out. And this allows various substances to get into the blood. It allows bacteria to get into the blood. It allows food particles and various proteins to get into the blood. We talked about histamine last week. Histamine allows histamine to get into the blood. And most egregiously or most problematically, it allows something called LPS, lipopolysaccharides, to get into the blood. Now, these lipopolysaccharides, when these lipopolysaccharides, these LPSs get into the blood, the condition is referred to as endotoxemia. You could put that article up on endotoxins here. Endotoxemia, endo means inside, tox means toxins, poisons, emia means in the blood. Endotoxemia means toxins that are getting inside the blood via this leaky gut mechanism. If you just leave the headline up there, Liam, I just want to point something out. Effect of endotoxin on cholesterol biosynthesis. It turns out that the body uses cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, as a way of sticking to these toxins and as a way of removing the toxins from the blood. So the body will upregulate, will start to produce more LDL cholesterol in response to the endotoxins that are coming out in the blood. And if you're on a statin drug, that's going to lower your LDL, but it's going to make you more prone towards toxicity from the lipopolysaccharides. And this demonstrates the short-sightedness and really biochemical ignorance of using pharmacology to stop the body from doing what it wants to do. The body wants to make LDL because what it's trying to do is clear out these LPSs that are coming in from the gut, coming in from a leaky gut. So you follow what I'm saying here? Endotoxins get into the bloodstream via leaky gut. The gut becomes leaky because of the wrong foods. Fried fats are especially problematic. Gluten and other plant defense molecules, collectively referred to as lectins, can be a problem. SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, which itself is caused by the FODMAPs foods, as well as low stomach acid, poor bile secretion. All of these are the primary reason why your LDL is going up. So instead of taking a statin drug, which is going to artificially suppress your LDL and make your body inhibit your body's ability to handle these endotoxins, let's take care of the intestine. That's point number one. That's the first hidden reason why cholesterol levels go up. Number two, cholesterol is a building substance. So when the body feels or thinks or gets biochemical signals from food that it's supposed to be building, it will upregulate cholesterol synthesis. And of course, the most powerful signal for growth, that is the growth of cells in the body, is insulin. Insulin is a growth hormone. It makes things grow. It makes cells grow. It makes cells divide. When cells divide and grow, they need more cholesterol. So the second reason why your cholesterol levels are high is because your insulin is high. We have a condition, an epidemic condition today called insulin resistance. And when our bodies cells stop listening to insulin, the pancreas makes more insulin. So as our cells become less sensitive to insulin and we're making more insulin, we get these signals, our body gets these signals to make more cholesterol. This is from, I'm not sure where this article's from. Liam, can you pull that up again real quick? Insulin sensitivity regulates cholesterol metabolism to a greater extent than obesity. Obesity is also another problem associated with insulin, associated with elevated cholesterol. So point number 2 is lower your insulin. Make your cells more sensitive to insulin by reducing your intake of high glycemic index foods, foods that spike insulin, fruit juices and fruits and sweets and soda pop and breads and cereals and rice and foods that make up a large percentage of the calories in a standard American diet are insulin spiking foods. They're going to lead to insulin resistance, decrease insulin sensitivity, and increase cholesterol synthesis. And taking a statin drug may artificially lower your cholesterol, but you're still going to be dealing with the problems associated with elevated insulin as well as high blood sugar. And by the way, elevated insulin and high blood sugar, as well as endotoxins, are really the causes of heart disease. Yeah, they're going to make your cholesterol go up, but the real cause of the heart disease is not the cholesterol, but the reason that the cholesterol levels are going up. The third cause of elevated cholesterol is elevated stress hormone, elevated cortisol. Now, cortisol levels will go up when you're under psychological stress. That's true, and we are under a lot of psychological stresses in the year 2024 in the United States of America. There's no doubt about it. But any inflammatory stress can cause cortisol to go up, including inflammatory stresses that come from blood sugar, hyperglycemia and elevated cortisol, and inflammatory stresses that come from endotoxins. You can see how all of this is related. This is why I call it a triangle: digestion, blood sugar, cortisol. Digestive problems, leaky gut specifically, will cause elevated cortisol. Problems with the blood sugar system will cause elevated cortisol via their pro-inflammatory effects. And then there's the whole psychological component to elevated cortisol, leading to increases in cholesterol, and your statin drug is not going to help there. Although statin drugs do have an anti-inflammatory effect by suppressing cholesterol, as long as you're spiking cholesterol, your body is going to be, spiking cortisol, your body is going to be making more cholesterol. Remember, cortisol is actually a type of cholesterol. We say it's a derivative of cholesterol, or cholesterol is a building block for cortisol, but really you can think of cortisol as a type of cholesterol. So when your cortisol goes up, your cholesterol is going to go up. So reducing stress, psychological stresses, as well as inflammatory stresses from the blood sugar system and the digestive system are going to be very important for the hypercortisol patient who is also dealing with elevated cholesterol synthesis. And then there's a link between the thyroid and elevated cholesterol. Hypothyroidism is linked to elevated cholesterol. When your thyroid is not working as well as it should, you're not going to be processing or eliminating cholesterol effectively at the level of the liver or at the level of the digestive system. Remember, cholesterol is eliminated through bile and through the stool, through excretion through the stool. So hypothyroidism, which slows everything down, slows down the functioning of the digestive system, is all, as well as the liver, is also linked to elevated cholesterol. And where do you find these 3 points? The digestive system, the blood sugar system, and the adrenal thyroid complex? In the triangle of disease. By the way, I should also tell you, when you have elevated cortisol, that has a tendency to slow down thyroid functioning, and this is one of the reasons why hypothyroidism occurs, is because of elevated cortisol, as well as, and you shouldn't be surprised to hear this, the other 2 points on the triangle of disease: elevated blood sugar, long-term hyperglycemia, as well as long-term insulin resistance, decreases insulin sensitivity, and insulin resistance syndrome, metabolic syndrome, will also lower cortisol levels or lower thyroid levels, and then endotoxemia and leaky gut and autoimmunity. All of this is related to the digestive system, will also have an effect on the thyroid. This is where Hashimoto's thyroiditis comes in. So without knowing if you don't want to know all of these things, if this is too much information for you, just know this: whenever you have a health challenge, whatever it is, cardiovascular disease, elevated blood cholesterol, autoimmunity, whatever it is, go back to the triangle. the digestive system, patch up a leaky gut, lay off of problematic foods, use digestive support supplements, including digestive enzymes. If you're using longevity products, we love the ultimate enzymes. There's a wonderful longevity product called I-26, which kills excess bacteria in the small intestine for folks who are dealing with SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Of course, avoiding gluten and fried fats and plant defense molecules that can cause inflammation at the level of the intestine and exacerbate leaky gut. Those are also advisable. If you have a gallbladder issue or if you have sticky, thick bile, using bile salt supplements can be helpful. Longevity Ultimate Enzymes contain bile salts. Lecithin granules can also support healthy bile. And then also, if you have any food allergies, eliminate or food intolerances, eliminating those can also improve bile. Using bitters before your meals, using Swedish bitters or digestive bitters can also have a positive effect on bile secretion. And then stabilizing your blood sugar. Make sure you're laying off of blood sugar, insulin spiking foods. Of course, sweets, everybody knows about those, but some people don't realize that grains and flour and bread and potatoes and pasta, all of these can have negative effects on the blood sugar system. So laying off those foods as well. And then there are the wonderful nutritional supplements that you can use to support the blood sugar system. Longevity's Healthy Blood Sugar Pack contains great supplements, including the Sweeties, which is chromium, vanadium, selenium, which is important for the production of insulin. You might also want to throw in the Ultimate Niacin, which can also have a stabilizing effect on blood sugar. In fact, all the B vitamins are important for blood sugar. Using your Beyond Tangy Tangerine can be helpful. I love a B vitamin called benfotiamine, which is really, which is like a deluxe form of thiamine. Vitamin B1, thiamine is very important for the blood sugar system, as well as vitamin B3, niacin. So using blood sugar support strategies is also going to be helpful for folks who are dealing with elevated cholesterol. And then lastly, the adrenal thyroid complex, calming the body down psychologically, reducing your intake of any pro-inflammatory foods. Of course, that includes sugar. And then also for thyroid functioning, you can't really deal with the thyroid directly. This is an important point for folks who have hypothyroid issues. With Hashimoto's hypothyroidism, which is the most common cause of hypothyroid issues, you can't approach the thyroid pharmacologically directly. Yes, you can take Synthroid, and that's what most people do, levothyroxine, which is thyroid hormone, but you can't work on the gland itself pharmacologically. There's nothing in the world of pharmacy or in the world of medicine that can take care of a hypothyroid condition, a thyroid that is underperforming. That's because the thyroid is linked to the digestive system, the blood sugar system, and the adrenal glands, the triangle. So that's how you work on hypothyroidism. You work on your digestive health, you work on your blood sugar health, and you work on the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands, you got to mostly use psychological strategies or mental health strategies, as well as the first 2 points on the triangle disease. There are supplements you could take for the adrenal glands, or nutrients, I should say: vitamin B12, zinc, vitamin C, iodine. These are very important nutrients for the adrenal glands. Pregnenolone is a precursor to adrenal hormones, a precursor to cortisol. Also has a calming effect on the body, so that may benefit patients who are dealing with excessive amounts of stress. DHEA, you got to be a little bit careful with DHEA. That can also be important for supporting adrenal health, particularly as you get older. So, long story short, if you're on a statin drug, you might want to consider using other strategies to lower your cholesterol, because the body needs cholesterol, and it's never, ever, ever an intelligent strategy or in your health interest to pharmacologically suppress a biochemical process that the body wants to undergo, or to artificially inhibit the synthesis of a molecule as multifunctional and as important for health and well-being as cholesterol.
That was outstanding, Ben.
Thank you, my friend.
Cholesterol.
Love cholesterol.
is a type of cholesterol. First time I
Yes,
ever heard it. Fascinating.
yes, yes. Cortisol is a type of cholesterol. They say, biochemists or scientists will say, well, cholesterol is turned into cortisol. If you look at the molecule, they're so similar. I like to think of cortisol as a type of cholesterol.
And never heard that. And I never also heard that you can't address the thyroid gland
Right.
directly, that you have to use the triangle, the
Yes,
digestion, the
yes.
blood sugar, and the adrenal complex.
And here's the thing. The reason I do this triangle is because the tip of the triangle is the jumping off point. Hypothyroidism, which is at the top of the triangle, is the jumping off point for all other diseases. In fact, I think we talked about Dr. Broda-Barnes' book, Hypothyroidism, the Unsuspected Illness, where he linked hypothyroidism to everything else. And it just makes sense, really, because the thyroid regulates all the cells of the body. Under the control of thyroid hormones, skin cells, skin, muscle cells, muscle, heart cells, heart, liver cells, liver, bone cells, bone. All the cells of the body do what they're supposed to do under the control and regulation of thyroid hormone. So if you're not making enough thyroid hormone, nothing else will work. And hypothyroidism is the unsuspected illness because it's behind all of these other chronic health conditions, and it's the tip of the triangle. So that means it itself, the thyroid itself, is responsive to cortisol in the adrenal glands, the blood sugar system, and the digestive system. That's why I call it the triangle of disease.
Outstanding. Seems like every time we do a broadcast, you say something that I've never. I've been in the health space for almost 2 decades now. It seems like every time something new that I've never heard before.
Awesome. Well, good to talk to you. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again. Also, Ben.
And then we'll talk next week.
We will talk next week. So thanks for watching, everybody. Leave your questions and comments on the platform that you're watching us on, and we'll get those questions and comments answered. So thanks for watching. Take care. See you next Sunday. Bye-bye.